Wait, maybe. Is it going now? Oh, I think. Oh, it's live. Okay. Okay. It's rolling. I just. Can y'all see me? Trying to get this Wi-Fi. I don't know what is going on with the hotel Wi-Fi. The first day, like I was telling Facebook, the first day it was good. Now it's just acting crazy. So I had to connect to my phone and it's taking forever. Okay. We live. All right. Oh my goodness. Aloha, friends. Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy, where we at? Sunday? Sunday. Yep. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is October the 9th, 2022, day 234 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count. We are at day 1252. Today we are in the book of inspiration. And this will be part 2. And we are picking back up on page 703, which will be chapter 5. We're going to start at chapter 5. Let me see. Father, you are priceless. All right, beautiful people. Look, it's 1:50 in the morning. I went to sleep for a little while after we got in last night. We got in. We were so dirty. We were so dirty. When I say we was dirty, we was dirty. We did that ATV little island dirt track tour thing, and when they say cover up, they mean completely cover up. I'm glad we just wrapped our hair anyway, both of us, because we kind of changed the course of our day just a little bit, because from the hotel to get to out there, it's about 35 minutes. So when we got done and we realized how dirty we was, well, after we got done, we got something to eat off of one of them food trucks, and the food was great. But then it was like, we're gonna need to go back to the hotel, and we're gonna need to shower and get dressed, which is gonna put us like 30 minutes back to the hotel, probably spend like an hour here showering and take another 30 minutes to at least get back to that point. That's 2 hours. So we just made a call just to ride dirty the rest of the day, right? Literally. So some of the videos that y'all see, if our white Hawaii, started day white Hawaii shirts and everything, right? We just ain't regular track, but it kicks up dirt all the way around, right? And when we done, they gave us a leaf blower. One of the ladies that was with our group, she said, I never thought I'd ever say that I blew my husband off with a leaf blower. But there we were, blowing each other off with leaf blowers, getting the dirt and stuff, at least all the free dirt and everything off of us, right? I'm glad we had a Jeep. We rented a Jeep. So it didn't get too dirty. We got as much off as we could. And of course, we went to the bathrooms, washed our arms and faces. If we had known ahead of time what we knew after the ATV ride, we would have bought extra set of clothes and everything, because they had showers and everything. They have private bathrooms for you to shower after you get done on the track. We didn't know none of that, right? So if you ever go on that, take extra clothes and be prepared to shower while you're there, especially if you got your day planned out, so you don't throw yourself a couple hours out of the way. So we made the decision to not go back to the hotel and change our day to touring the island of Oahu, right? So we got done with the ATV jank, and we just rode the island line, looking at the coast, stopping at the places along the way, like the Dole pineapple plantation. That was great. We took the Pineapple Express, learned about the history of everything there, and then we stopped at I don't know how many beaches, and we got pictures and the sunsets and just looking at the sky change throughout the day while we went along the coastline, and it was beautiful. So that was a bit of the day yesterday, and we learned a little history about the let's just say the king of the country here, right? The guy, the big surfer dude, King, I might screw his name up, so forgive me. Somebody here watch me, right? King Kamehameha. I think I messed that up. But anyway, that was the dude. So real quick, if you didn't know, first of all, let me say hey to everybody. Vanette, hey girl, hey. Anita, greetings. Derry CM, shalom. Key, blessings, sissy. Oahspe College University. Shalom. Does your Oahspe Bible have the book of Jehovah's Kingdom on earth? It does. I believe it's the next book after the book of it. Yep, it's the next book after the book of inspiration. Yes, it's in here. We're gonna be getting to it in a shoot. We're only gonna have like a couple days. I guess in about 2 or 3 days we'll be at it. It's the very next book. This book is pretty short. Hana, Grand Rising, Tikva, Shalom, sis, hey girl, hey, Kendrick, Shalom, Jamia, Shalom, Shalom, Lindsay, Ya, Shalom, brother, Nene, over on Facebook, Shalom. We was already talking, I was trying to get YouTube up. But anyway, King Kamehameha, if I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, so this dude comes from, my husband over there asleep. If I remember correctly, he was a warrior, right? I want to say New Zealand, but he came over to the Big Island. The Big Island is actually Hawaii. So you got 5 islands over here, Hawaii being the biggest island that has the big volcano and everything. If you want to go over there, you have to take a plane ride, which is about $70 going over there, right? And you can go through all that stuff. We're not going to do the Big Island this time. So he comes over with his warriors, right? He comes over with his warriors and decide, matter of fact, his brother, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Him and his brother, they were kings. He absolutely hated his brother. He came over here. Matter of fact, I'm screwing it up a little bit. I think he was king of the Big Island of Hawaii. He didn't get along with his brother. He absolutely hated his brother. His brother was over here on Oahu. Comes over here, and I'm just trying to shorten the story. Comes over here, kills his brother, right? Takes over the land of Oahu. And these are considered like the natives of the land, right? This is way before, um, what they call the white man came over here, right? These is like their own people, or close to their own people, the natives here. Comes over, kills his brother, takes over the land. After they take over the land, they take all the men who are native to this land, take all of them, push them all off a cliff. Literally, they kill all the men. So when the woman was at the desk and she was giving us the story, she's been here for a very long time. And the way she was telling the story, she was quite hilarious. We started busting up laughing because she said when she was telling us how to travel, where to go, whenever we decide to do the ride around the island, she was like, "Oh, you have to go here." She had the big map, so we riding around with this big map, and she marking out the places along the coast. She said the best way to go is take this route, and you hit all these. So we got all these places that we hit, stop, got pictures. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like she said, there's this Buddhist, not Buddhist. It's a Japanese temple. I think I mentioned it yesterday. BYO, like the Boy Temple. We went there along the ride. We're gonna kind of backtrack a little bit today and go back to that point to go to the temple. And she said they have a temple over there. She said when you go, she said make sure you have a single dollar with you. She said when you go over there, they have these this it's like a fortune thing or something. You put a dollar in here and it shoots it out to sea, right? And she said, and it's supposed to bring you good luck all year for the rest of the year. She said, not that I'm superstitious or anything like that. I was like, yeah, that does really, but we thought it was really cool. We're gonna take like a dollar. And then this is where she began to tell us the story. And she said, for you, sir, talking to my husband, she said, you might want to put $5 in there, shoot it out to sea. And I started laughing. She said, because we want to make sure you stay alive. I'm like, the way she was saying it was kind of funny. She said, no, let me tell you the story. And so that's when she began to tell us about the king and how he killed his brother when he came over here and took all the native men, pushed them off the cliff, kill them. Kind of sound like little King Heritage to me. I'm like, dang, but they just didn't do the baby boys 2 years old and up. They got like everybody. And after they killed all the men, the women that were left here, they were required to marry the warriors of King Kamehameha. Like I said, if I'm screwing up his name, forgive me, I'll get it right. So that way, when they reproduce, it's reproducing after his own kind, after his bloodline, so there would never be an uprising against them in his land. But they also tell you another story about this king. He was the one who brought surfing here to the islands, right? That's when surfing started literally going all over the world from this particular tyrant. Let's call him a tyrant king, right? Tyrant king over here. But they have statues of him. They say he was a huge dude. And so she said out of the 3 statues, there's one located, I forgot the name of it. It's on our map. We're gonna go see that today. She said this one, she said when you get here, she said this one is true to life size. She said stand up against it. So we definitely gonna take a picture. She said dude was huge. He was really, really tall. So I'm like, oh, we definitely gonna take a picture of that. So my husband gonna take a picture of it, picture beside it, and I'm gonna take a picture beside it, and we're gonna show y'all that so y'all can kind of see, like back in the day, how tall at least over here some of those guys were compared to how tall we are now. My husband is 6'2", I'm 5'5", right? So that's gonna be fun today. So yeah, she said, and then after they did that here, the big island, so the other 3 islands, they went and pretty much did the same exact thing. And when they got to the last island, um, I forget them in the order that she put them, but when she got to this last island, the king here was so terrified of the king and what he was doing to the other little small islands over here in Hawaii, that he just completely submitted, bowed to the king and said, we are your servants. So there was no war between the king and the last island. They just, look, we're part of you now. What you want us to do? We work for you, brother, right? And so that's kind of a little bit of the history about that and the rulership over here. And those was the native people. So when she told us that story, I started to look at things a little bit differently about what we think are native people now. Because if that was the case, if they killed all the men that were alive at that time when he came and did that, that means that the natives here, which would only been left is the women, right? They would have mixed with these guys. And I want to say they came from New Zealand. I want to say they came from New Zealand. If I got that correct, I'll get the story together, y'all. So when I get it and I had some pieces off, just know I said I might not be telling it all the right way. But that would have uh, pretty much killed the line of the native men here, and they would have been thoroughly mixed in, like 50, well, I'm gonna just say 50% of this, 50% of that, but it was probably already mixed before they came in and mixed a little bit more, right? And so especially if they had, remember, so if you got women up here, not all of them may be related. So if they having babies by the warriors here, and remember all the islands, and so if they're mating within the islands and everything, that natural bloodline dies out and you just kind of reproducing more and more. And I believe each time it would probably get stronger uh, for the people who came over and just pretty much almost wipe away the natives of this land. Like they could have completely been, like sometimes they say whited out or blacked out or whatever they called them, Samoan out, I don't know. But that, I started thinking about all that. That was really interesting. And so there's also another, when we was walking to the waterfall, really long walk, they greet you here, and there was a really, really old Hawaiian, look like native dude. Everybody saying like aloha or aloha, right? And so when we was walking, there is this bridge that's covered when you enter into the botanical garden, like sanctuary type thing. They're sitting there with some of like their old relics and everything on the table. See if you want to buy. We done bought a couple things, right? And we done bought another staff. But as we was going, everybody was saying they were saying aloha, right? But he just kind of looked at us and he said aloha, right? And I'm like, and I looked and it's kind of kept going, and he kind of like, it was almost like he was kind of like throwing like a hint out there. I'm like, I don't know what this dude trying to say. He just, the way he said it, maybe because he said it a different way from what some of the other people, like the tourists, said. I'm like, I wonder if that's really the right way to say it. Maybe it's not aloha, but aloha, right? He said aloha. And and we said aloha back, but I just kept thinking about it. And I started thinking about how we pronounce the name of the creator, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's really, really close to aloha, eloa, aloha. I was like, I wonder if that was the same thing. I wonder if they're actually like, instead of like the greeting, I wonder if that changed over time, like because of the way he like said it and the way he looked, like he was trying to like throw a hint. We'll see if they pick up on what I'm trying to throw out to them, but I kept thinking about it. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but I just been thinking about it. So if anybody know, help a sister out. But anyway, set apart, living, grand rising, grand rising. Okay. So that was like a little bit of the history, background and stuff, what we learned yesterday. It's time to get to the reading. All right, y'all, page 703. Did I already say the Father was priceless? Father, you are priceless. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. All right, y'all. Page 703, chapter 5, or chapter 5 in Roman numerals is chapter V. All right. Two kinds of voices have I, saith Jehovah, the silent voice and the audible voice. All men I created susceptible to one or the other of my voices, and many to both. One man heareth my voice in the breeze. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear the wind blowing? Not the motorcycle, but you can hear the breeze, and you can hear the ocean, not the car. It was funny because I heard the breeze right when I was reading it. And we ain't gonna be here that long till y'all see the sunrise this morning. So I'm going to bed. Okay, listen. I'll start over. Two kinds of voices have I, saith Jehovah, the silent voice and the audible voice. All men I created susceptible to one or the other of my voices, and many to both. One man heareth my voice in the breeze, and in thunder, and in music. Another heareth my voice in the flowers of the field, and in the scenery of the mountains. And yet another feeleth my inspiration, and he skippeth up the mountainside, and tireth not on the way. Look, I shared a little bit on Facebook while we were driving. I think I'm going to upload a couple of the video. Well, I think I'm gonna splice them together. So maybe it's like one long video, but not too long, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. So you can catch a couple of little snippet rides as we was going along the way and stopping in between. And so you can see the mountains. It is so beautiful in the sky. It's amazing in the ocean. I'm gonna share that with y'all. I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna upload it to YouTube just like I did to Facebook. It's beautiful. Listen. 1 verse 3. I'm gonna go to verse 3. One man heareth my voice in the breeze, and in thunder, and in music. Another heareth my voice in the flowers of the field, and in the scenery of the mountains. And yet another feeleth my inspiration, and he skippeth up the mountain side, and tireth not on the way. He that neither seeth nor feeleth my inspiration goeth up the mountain in great labor, in proportion as man is clear in his corporality and in his spirit, so discerneth he my inspiration. And if he have great purity as well, then he shapeth my light into corporal words. These I taught man, these I taught man to call my revealed words. Nevertheless, no corporal man created I perfect, neither can any man reveal my words perfectly. But I created the way open unto all men to try to reveal me. According to man's approximation to perfect manhood, so reveal I unto him by my presence and my words. According to man's imperfection in manhood, so doth not my inspiration manifest on his senses. Perfect manhood created I possible in equal corporal and spiritual senses. Strong corporal senses and weak spiritual senses detract man from my presence and make him infidel to my person. Such a man denieth my inspiration and the inspiration of my angels. He is a little he is a little more than a forest tree which hath a trunk and many branches, but moveth not from its place. Wow, that was funny. Chapter 6. We're on page 703. I am one spirit, saith Jehovah. My quickening power is upon all the living. Because of this, they live and move. According to the different structure of the living, so is my inspiration manifested by them. One, as the hare runneth away in cowardice, another, as a lion, is ferocious, another, without judgment, as the serpent. And as to man, one is inspired to music, another to mathematics, another to seership, and so on. So all of these, I am the one, the universal inspirer that moveth all of them. Verse 7. According to their organic structure, so do they manifest my inspiration. The lowest of the living creatures made I the serpent, for I gave to him an element capable of destroying himself. When the earth was encircled with poisonous gases, I created poisonous vines and weeds and trees and all kinds of herbs, rich growing upon the earth. Look, we was walking last night after we came from the Mexican restaurant. It's early in the morning now. It's 2:10. So we walking down the street after we come from the Mexican restaurant, right? It's about the closest one to us is like a 4-minute walk from where we're at. So after we came in, after we got back in last night, we got back here probably about 7 p.m., something like that. We got showered and we got dressed again and we went out walking, found a Mexican restaurant. But anyway, so after we ate and we walked along the beach a little bit and we're walking back to the hotel, some young guys out there, he looked to be like 19 years old, just walks up to us and like, hey, you guys looking for some? And my husband's like, he said, some weed? You ain't looking for no weed? And my husband's like, nah, bro, we all right. So we walk and I'm like, you know what? He's stereotyping us because we got dreads. Out here walking things just because, we got dreads, we automatically smoke ganja, right? I mean, I don't. My husband did was not as much as he did before. But that was funny. And the first thing I thought about, dude might be Hawaii 5-0 undercover. I think they might be trying to catch people up, right? You hear these crazy stories, people going to other places and you do something against the native land, something that's disrespectful or whatever, and they put you in jail for 47 years and America don't come get you out. Yeah, we ain't falling for your trap. But he probably really was like a legit weed man. Right? But you don't just walk up to the tourists. That's like a red flag to us. Nope. If we ain't looking for something, don't come like offer stuff like that to us because we're gonna automatically tell you no. You might have us on our way to jail or something, and we came out here to have fun. All right, y'all. I just thought about this when it was talking about the weeds. Okay. Verse 9. When the earth was encircled with poisonous gases, I created poisonous vines and weeds and trees and all kinds of herbs, rich growing upon the earth. Thus, from destroying gases and from the earth's substance, created I the vegetable world. And in that day, all growing things upon the earth, which I had created, were poisonous as to animal life. Then I created the serpents of all sizes, created I them, and they were poisonous also. And the serpents I created were carnivorous, feeding upon one another. Self impregnating created I them. Thus drove I the poisonous of the air down into vegetation, and thence into the animal world. Thus I purified the air of heaven. This was the first creation I created on this world. Then I overcast the earth with falling nebula and covered up the poisons growing upon the earth, and they were turned to oil and coal. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, I see. I see. I think I see what it's going. It's just like going through the phases of man as we develop over time, and like now we're in the cosmon era, right? Okay, well we're the most perfected product of the human race according to the evolution of us, right? At the current point, we're always the best, and we're constantly developing to the better of ourselves. Okay, verse 14. This was the first creation I created on this world. Then I overcast the earth with falling nebula and covered up the poisons growing upon the earth, and they were turned to oil and coal, coal, cold. Then I made a new creation, giving feet and legs and bones to the animals I designed for the earth. And when the earth was ripe for man, then I created him. Male and female created I those of the second creation. So we didn't develop from monkeys and apes and stuff. That's a part of the animal kingdom, right? They got their place, but when the earth was ripe for man, then I created them, male and female alike, right? The different, I ain't gonna say different species or the different flavors of us, right? Then I made, verse 16, then I made a new creation, giving feet and legs and bones to the animals I designed for the earth. And when the earth was ripe for man, then I created him. Male and female created I those of the second creation. And man was dumb, like other animals, without speech and without understanding, even less than any other creature which I had created. Nevertheless, I had given to man, and thus made him out of the dissolved elements of every living thing that had preceded him. I'm not telling you, look, this just said it in a more beautiful way. Everything inside of us is in nature somewhere in the elements. We have all of that. That's all of that is mixed up in we're like the perfect portions of all creation lumped into one, right? With the ability to express the way the other parts of creation can only express in the beauty and how they look. But we get to express it in the beauty of how we look, even how we're born, even born naked, the perfection and the beauty of the bodies, to when we become developed and we can clothe ourselves with the beauty like the peacock and his feathers, and we put on all the different colors and jewelry and stuff, right? We showing our beauty in those ways, but also not only can we see the beauty about us and our creator, but we also have intelligence where we can express with words intelligently, and Lord praises on the Father with our words and not just our beauty and how we look. Like, look at me. Hey, look, hold on. Verse 19, page 703. Nevertheless, I had given to man, and thus made him out of the dissolved elements of every living thing that had preceded him. And man partook of the first and second creations after the manner of every animal on the earth. So created I man with all the characteristics of all of them. So created I him, male and female, created I them. Tabitha, hey girl, hey. Verse 21, page 703. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and to rouse him up to his capabilities for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms, and the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. Right, so we get help from the unseen realms. 6. All right, that was the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7, page 704. I created man, even from the first, that he should learn to be independent, that he should learn to be an independent being, saith Jehovah. And when my angels had taught man speech, making man name all the animals in the world after the names the animals called themselves, I commanded my angels to come away from man for a season. Let me read that again. Verse 1. I created man, even from the first, that he should learn to be an independent being, saith Jehovah. And when my angels had taught man speech, making man name all the animals in the world after the names that animals called themselves. Wow. And when my angels had taught man speech, making man name all the animals in the world after the names the animals called themselves, I commanded my angels to come away from man for a season. To my angels I said, behold, of all of the animals I created in the world, to man only gave I capacity to transmit knowledge to his brethren by words. And to man only gave I capacity to comprehend an idea of me, his creator. Nevertheless, I inspire all living animals which I created, but they know it not. I inspire the spider to make its net, the bird to build her nest, the goose to fly to the south before the winter cometh, the mare to neigh for her colt, the ant to lay in its stores, the bees to dwell in a queendom, and so on. Every living creature do I move and control by my inspiration upon them. Set apart. Hold on, sis. What you say? Hold on. We need to pause. Did y'all catch what chapter 623 was saying? Chapter 6, verse 23 says, on page 703 at the bottom, at the right, and my angels drew from man's side substance and took, and my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms. And the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. I completely missed that. Hold on. And my angels drew from man's side substance and took on corporal forms, and the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, I'm probably off, but the first thing that comes to mind is when JC was hanging on the cross and they poked him in the side and blood and water came out, right? That's like the first thing. That's like my only reference point, which probably has nothing to do with it. Maybe not. Okay, hold on. Tabitha, so Mr. Adam did not name the animals. Clearly, that's what it says. Say the animals named themselves, and the angels just told us what the animals called themselves, and that's what we called them. Okay, set apart. Hold on, wait. Set apart. You said not the rib of man. Did y'all catch? Verse 20, see. Let me go back to 21. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and to rouse him up to his capabilities for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms, and the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. Okay, so now when I was reading that again, right, no rib, Jamia, right, no rib is what she said. So now, I could still be off, right? I'm fumbling around in the dark here, but no, because he had already created man and woman, right? So I was thinking about the Genesis story where Adam was put to sleep and the woman was taken from his rib, right? But we know a lot of times, not that men are like more spiritual than women, because you see, some men are more developed spiritually than some women are, but naturally women are born more spiritual, and we tend to tap into spiritual things a whole lot quicker than what men tend to do a lot. Not that that's the case in all cases, because I think everybody should be able to, but like women's intuition and stuff, and with the children being able to nurture and have to be in tune with things, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so Tabitha said this is where the rib story came from when they said woman came from man's side. That's what Tabitha said. Set apart said the woman was not taken from the rib and made the helpmate. The angel, oh, the angel was the helpmeet. Let's go back. That makes sense, right? Hold on. Let's go back. Let's read the whole chapter again, chapter 5. Right. Yeah, thank you for bringing it out. Cuz I was just reading some things I just didn't catch. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, let's read chapter 6 again. Go back, page 703, right? Thank you, Ima. Which set apart. Listen, which is set apart. Listen. Chapter 6, page 703. I am one spirit, saith Jehovah. My quickening power is upon all the living. Because of this, they live and move. According to the different structure of the living, so is my inspiration manifested by them. One as the hare, or like the rabbit, one as the hare runneth away in cowardice, another as a lion is ferocious, another without judgment as the serpent. And as to man, one is inspired to music, another to mathematics, another to seership, and so on. To all of these I am the one, the universal inspirer that moveth all of them. According to their organic structure, so do they manifest my inspiration. So those who are inclined and musically inclined to have the ability and talent, or just the skill to play music, they tend to worship and tell you about the Father through song, right? Whatever it is their gift that they're inclined to, or that they're bent to, that's how they like praise the Creator, and and manifest His inspiration. Because musicians will get songs literally from the realm of the heavens above. And just like from the lower level, some of this other music comes straight from Hada, the first heaven. It comes straight from there, right? And they know how to tap into that with other substances to pull that inspiration right from that realm, right? And a lot of that music will keep you, it puts you on that frequency of that realm. There are some secular songs like love songs and ballads and stuff, I don't necessarily, I'm like, that's a good, it's nice and clean. It's like a pure from the heart, love for a spouse, or those, I think those are cool. Let's see. Verse 5. As to man, one is inspired to music, another to mathematics, another to seership, and so on. To all of these, I am the one, the universal inspirer that moveth all of them. According to their organic structure, so do they manifest my inspiration. The lowest of the living creatures made I the serpent, for I gave to him an element capable of destroying himself. When the earth was encircled with poisonous gases, I created poisonous vines and weeds and trees and all kinds of herbs rich growing upon the earth. Thus, from destroying the gases from the earth, substance created I the vegetable world. And in that day, all growing things upon the earth which I had created were poisonous as to animal life. Then I created the serpents. Of all sizes created I them, and they were poison also. And the serpent I and the serpents I created were carnivorous, feeding upon one another, self impregnating, created I them. Thus drove I the poison of the air down into vegetation, and thence into the animal world. Thus I purified the air of heaven. This was the first creation I created on this world. Then I overcast the earth with falling nebula, and covered up the poisons growing upon the earth, and they were turned to oil and coal. Then I made a new creation, giving feet and legs and bones to the animals I designed for the earth. So just thinking about this process and even just looking at things how things develop now, the earth it would be pretty old, right? So at first, depending on who teaches you, like when I first transitioned from like the church into like the Hebrew roots and stuff, they got like this whole and the Jewish people, and they number the earth according to their understanding on this. So according to like the Jewish people, we're in like year, I forget because I stopped even counting that, but I think we're like in year 58 something, right? They say we're close to the 6,000 year mark of earth life. But according to all this, the way things have to develop, we have the Sumerian civilization like a little over 5,000 years ago. And if there's already people living, at what time are we allotting to the development of the earth? Right? The earth is definitely older than 6,000 years. That story to me has been blown out the water. Right? I'm like, you're right. Just looking at how we develop now, and even humans, it takes nine months to develop a whole human in your belly, right? And if you do this with every human, right, over the process of time, just think about, like I said, even and Sumerian is not even the oldest, right? But Sumerian is from this day is about 5,000 years in the past, which would make like if the whatever 5,800 year whatever it is, that we could tell that's way off, because if that was the case, it would have to encompass what Genesis said from the time that from the time it was void and dark and nothing but the waters or whatever. Like, where did that develop? And we know that's not a one day, like a literal, because the way the church teach you, a literal 1 day, 2 day, day 3 and day 4, day 5, day 6, and then you rest on the 7th. Those are not literal days. Impossible. Just by looking at things now, we can tell you that that's not possible. Thank you. Genesis, Oahspe College University. Genesis is allegory or metaphor. I heard a lot of people say that. But it's definitely smaller pieces, like the cliff notes. No, I ain't even gonna say the cliff notes, footnotes from a way bigger story where people are missing a lot of information too, right? Okay, listen. Verse, I'm gonna go back to verse 13. Thus drove I the poison of the air down into vegetation, and thence into the animal world, and thus purified the air of heaven. This was the first creation I created on this world. Then I overcast the earth with falling nebula, and covered up the poisons growing upon the earth, and they were turned to oil and coal. Then I made a new creation, giving feet and legs and bones to the animals I designed for the earth. And when the earth was ripe for man, then I created him. Male and female created I those of the second creation. And man was dumb like other animals, without speech and without understanding, even less than any other creature which I had created. Nevertheless, I had given to man, and thus made him out of the dissolved elements of every living thing that had preceded him. And man partook of the first and second creations, and after the manner of every animal on the earth, so created I man with all the characteristics of all of them, so created I him, male and female, I created them. Now listen, I like the way this put this, and we're about to get back to what Ema had said down here at the bottom about the angels coming out the side. If you look if you look at the human being, right? Let's just, husbands and wives, let's just look at something, right? So I notice, like, if you observe your spouse's body, and even in like in times of infancy, and not infancy, in times of intimacy, right? And you can not just there, you can look at the different stages as we grow from the time we come out of the womb, right? From the time even before we come out of the womb, like the process that we can see now through animation and science, and what happens when a sperm comes out of the man and goes into the woman and swim. We can see different phases of life in the animal kingdoms and different sectors and portions of the world with the phases that we go through. So like the sperm looks like a tadpole, right? And so it goes into the womb, and just like the different things, just think about the process and think about the different animal kingdoms. But one specifically, okay, so if you look, if you look at our skin, right, like the back of your hand, you will see we don't have scales, but if you look really close, we would see what, if we look on other animals, would seem to be scales, but we're like the best, softest version of that. But there's like remnants from the animal kingdom that we can see inside of ourselves, right? Um, One thing, and it's a couple different ways. Like the elephant, women, I'm gonna say this in like code word. You can spot the elephant on your husband in times of infancy if you're paying attention, right? You can see it in a couple different ways in their body. Um, okay, so, and even if you like it, just not even like if, okay, so you would have the, I'll make sure I say this in the right way. This is just a little science and observation that I do, just, you know, looking at stuff. Trina, hey girl, hey. So you can see the elephant on your spouse with his chest representing like the eyes of the elephant and like their arms, right? It will kind of be like the ears. And if you go down a little bit further, you would be able to see the trunk of the elephant, right? Yeah, and the skin, tiny diamond shapes on the skin, just different things. Look at like turtle shells and different things like that, right? So start paying attention if you haven't before. Try to spot in yourself and in your spouse or on your children at the different phases and ages of your children. See if you can pinpoint something that looks similar to what we see in nature, right? Everything that the Father is trying to teach us and want to teach us by inspiration, look, pay attention, observe this, right? Our main thing is to observe around us and take in that good information, apply it to ourselves, and grow that way. Everything that ain't good, y'all know what to do with that. To come ask me if you run out of matches. And good for nothing but the fire. I keeps matches, right? So that's how we can learn the truth about different things, just through observation. Even a lot of structures, buildings, and things that man creates, the idea, the inspiration comes from something that they've seen in nature, where they've taken it and they just add a little bit of their ingenuity onto it to make it a useful structure for us to use and live inside, and just the different things. It's amazing. Nature's education is one of the best educations you would ever get, and it comes through observation. Okay, so let's go back. Verse 18. No, let's go to 17. And when the earth was ripe for man, then I created him. Male and female created I those of the second creation. And man was dumb, like other animals, without speech and without understanding, even less than any other creature which I had created. Nevertheless, I had given to man, and thus made him out of the dissolved elements of every living thing that had preceded him. And man partook of the first and the second creations. After the manner of every animal on the earth, so created I man with all the characteristics of all of them. So created I him, male and female created I them. Verse 21, page 703, and it's about to get to what Emma brought out. I read 21 again. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and to rouse him up to his capabilities for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms, and the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. Look, man, and right, thank you, Hannah. Man and they be chopping and screwing up all the stories. I like that. Okay, so Ema brought that out. She said that y'all cows already in chapter 7. She said, hold up. Did y'all catch what chapter 6 was saying? Verse 23. That's exactly where they got that from, right? And they screw up the story. Hannah said, man and woman were created at the same time, not woman taken from man, right? And it was the angels that were set beside us to be the helpmates, to teach us about who we are, who the Father created us to be. They are our helpmates, and they're still our helpmates here today. Was a tickler. Was a child born in 21. Was a child born? Was a child? I ain't understanding what you're saying, sis. Was a child born in 21? What you mean? That just went over my head. Verse 21. Okay, sorry. Verse 21, page 703. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. Let's go back to 20. And man partook of the first and second creations after the manner of every animal on the earth. So created I man, with all the characteristics of all of them. So created I him, male and female created I them. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. Right, what kind of goes through the whole in Genesis when man was naming all the animals but couldn't find a suitable helpmate for him, trying to figure out, okay, who was going to be for me, right? That it looks like that story is all chopped and screwed for us, right? Yeah, he was still childlike. I like that set apart. So because you would have to have like a first, you would have. So we would have to have a model, right? And from that the first one, at least in my understanding, would have to have been made directly by the creator. Yeah, because I think about what I read in Jubilees when he created man, where it says, and of this kind I made 26 kinds, or 26 pairs of men and women at the creation, when it was time for man, when the earth was ripe for man to come on the scene. We started at a baby stage, and the angels were our parents. Right. The angels clear, and the angels still our parents. They're the Ashars, we be kind of talking about this, right? Here, we're now the parents of the ones that we bring, the ones that we reproduce, right? So the children that now the process that was done like that for the first time, the Father created them, and He gave parents or angels or ashars to help teach them, and they're still given to us at every step of the way. But now when we're raised up and we're taught, right, and we begin to reproduce, we become the ashars to the babies, the children, the people we bring into the world, while still getting inspiration from our unseen parents, right? The angels, messengers, however you want to term them, right? Okay, let me see. Abba girl, shalom, sis. Set apart said he was still childlike. Tabitha said we started at baby stage and the angels were our parents. Abba girl said, I kind of knew, but I really appreciate you taking time every day to do these readings for us. May the light of the Father fall upon you and your family greatly. Thank you, sis. Oahspe College University family, Semu was dropping down, so it was not a child. Right. Okay, I forgot about Semu. Hold on. Let's look up Semu. Hold on. Semu, page 784. It said, okay, so I'm gonna read Semu and Semuin age. And it got Shem right after it, but we're going to talk about Semu. Semu, a physical substance from which life begins. It rains down on a planet during a limited time early in a planet's history, and is the basis from which life begins. It only occurs to any significant degree during the Semu age. Semu age, a period of time on a planet encompassing 2 seasons in which the conditions arise that allow life to begin. It includes primitive creations as well as the more advanced forms of life, such as animals and man. See Book of Jehovah. The first Simuan, the first hold on. Season. Oh, okay. It includes primitive creations as well as the more advanced forms of life, such as animals and man. See Book of Jehovah. The first season of the Simuan age preceded the creation of Asu, who appeared during the second season. It was at that time that man arose from Asu, thus marking the beginning of the Ethiopian age. Okay, so I remember reading that. Okay, so I'm not gonna go back to it now, but when we get back to, I'm gonna before we start getting back to that, because it's still gonna be like a few weeks before we get back there. I will go back and reread that on my own time just to make sure. Yeah, because we can't discount any of this stuff, right? Okay, so hold on. Oahspe College University said I did a video explaining it because it kind of confuses people, right? You know, I'm gonna find your video and I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna share it. Okay. Is it called? What is it called? Help us out. Even leave the link. Leave the link. Okay. Family Semu was dropping down, so it was not a child. Set apart said he didn't even know who or what he was yet. Not a child, but childlike, meaning not knowing, right? Oahspe agreed, right? Right, not knowing. Ooh, Jamia. She said, Semen, sorta. Right, so wait a minute. Yo, wait a minute. You might be on to something. I mean, oh, we could be running off the path. Somebody help us out. But it's a good thought though. Semu, think about the semen of man. Now, if all the best portions of the creation of the world is now in us. So if Semu ain't falling from above, now you get Semu directly from your spouse. I'm gonna get some of the Semu, girl. Help produce a baby. Look, that you Jamia, you might, she says sorta. That might we might be on to something though, right? Oahspe College University. Are we going off the path? Say lie. Y'all here in the background, help us out while we talking about this. That look, rain down to start creation, right? So now that that's not being done, he just laughed. But think about it. Our bodies are electric, right? Look, if everything we can see in the world out in creation, nature, even the electricity, the thunderstorms and stuff, the electricity in our brains, our bodies are electrical. If all of the ecosystem that we can see outside of us is a part of that miniature microcosm, it's like reflected on the inside of us, happening on the inside. The semen is now created. Everything that's happening without, like as above, so below, maybe as without, so within. Semu creates automatically. I mean, you get the man excited enough, it's gonna create some Semu. My husband is knocked out. You might really enjoy this conversation. Look, look, your husband reigns on in you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're gonna go. Look, we're gonna go with that. But help us out, the more advanced studiers of Oahspe and its science. Help us out because we don't really want to get out, but it's fun to talk about. It really is. Okay, Oahspe College University said Oahspe explained how Semu stopped as soon as the angel had sex. You got a video on that too? I know we probably read it, but just help us out. We didn't kind of got out talking about Semu and semen. Okay, hold up. Let me see if I miss Semu create. But I think the Semu creates automatically. You get sparks going on, and it just kind of start cooking up and bubbling from down below in two places on the man. It just kind of comes through, right? Same function. I think maybe we might be off a little bit. I don't know, but we're gonna figure. It might make sense to if it makes sense to Iman, then we might not be too far off the path, right? Our minds our minds might be in the gutter most of the time because we're younger, but I mean, but somebody got to ask these questions. Excuse me, is this not appropriate? Is we even close? Okay, look, you welcome. Hold on. Tapper said, "This is why I love you guys. You causes us to think. Yeah, right. This is the place for it, right? I need you. You need me. We sharpen one another. Yeah. If y'all got a question, I'm gonna read. If I don't know, I'll be like, hey, anybody else in the room know? Because I don't. I'm just gonna make up a joke. Hold on. Oahspe College University said there is a verse on it in the book of Jehovah and the book of cosmology. I ain't that learned yet in this to go right to them references. So when you tell us, brother, help us out, give us the reference point so we can go to it. If you leave the references, we'll go to it, we'll read it, So, but I'm gonna keep on going. Okay, so let's see. I'll go back to 21, verse 21, page 703. And man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing whence he came, nor knew he which was his own species. And I sent angels to man. I gotta put asterisks here. Just remember this. I'm gonna put side of man. Taken out the side of man. Okay. Verse 22, page 703. And I sent angels to hold on. Yeah, and I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and to rouse him up to his capabilities for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms, and the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. That's great. It's beautiful, right? Trina, you said y'all over there cracking up. I mean, that sounds logical to us, right? You and your hubby. What's up, Rob? Listen, okay. Chapter 7, page 704. Yeah, hold on. Hold up. I missed something. Jamia says, Selah and Cal were talking about it the other day. I thought about it when I first read, but I thought my mouth, thought my, here we all be down there in the gutter sometime. I mean, not on purpose, but we just trying to figure this out. Set apart said OCU dropped the link to your channel and the video. Yeah, Oahspe College OCU is Oahspe College University. He has a lot of very informative videos as well. Yeah, I know I mentioned him before. He comes in from time to time, but yeah, go subscribe to his channel, check out his videos. That some of them have been at least the ones I saw, they've been very helpful, and things that I kind of like overlook while I'm reading through, like what I did with this verse. So Iman pointed it out. It's like, okay, let's go back and read it, and we started talking about Semu-Semen. Yeah, so yeah, go check out some of that stuff. Like all the information that we getting, we all need to run it through our minds and just really think it through. Ask some obvious questions, things that questions you don't normally get to ask in church, right? We here for it all. Ask all the questions. Even if you think your mind is in the gutter, you got good company with you, because half the stuff I read, y'all see me cracking up, is because I see it in certain ways in my head. And sometimes it may not be appropriate to say, but if you ask the question, I'm going to go ahead and read it, right? And then I tell you the funny story that I saw going on inside of my head, and then I won't seem so odd. Look, chapter 7, y'all. Chapter 7, page 704. Where we at? We had an hour. It's Sunday though, right? Let's keep going. And plus my husband is not. So I ain't gonna be here as long as I was the other day where y'all saw the sunrise. I'm gonna cut it off. We're Cosmon babies and see it all. Yeah, I know. Look, we're in the beginning of the first arc of the Cosmon cycle. So all of this stuff we got to talk about. This is like class all over the world. We visiting. Look, and I hope when y'all visit places, I hope y'all do videos and share, especially places ain't none of us been. If you get the opportunity to go do a video, go live, share some stuff, share the sky. I love sky pictures. I love it, absolutely love it. We got to see how the sun rises and sets in different places, so share all your stuff. Just because Bennett said, why when it comes to sex, we say your mind is in the gutter? I don't know, because then the father created it. Like, this is the process of how we all get here. So we've all been affected by sex in one or two different ways. In more ways than some people can even ever imagine, right? But we all come through here through that avenue. It shouldn't be the gutter, right? Although some people may be conceived in the gutter in other places that my mother would call like a uncouth, not sanitary, the backseat of a Buick. Like, some of us got here in some crazy ways, right? I don't know. So maybe it comes from that. Yeah, the church set apart. Get your mind out of there. I don't know. It could be, right? Because you get in the church, when you get people who are holier than thou, when they talk about sex, it's like, listen, yes, the Father created it, and He created it good, but we don't partake of it unless we're planning to have a child. Like, seriously. So how many children you got? Two? You got two children. You only had sex twice. I think you're lying, Pastor. Get out of the pulpit. Matter of fact, we're going to strip you from that title because you're a lie. You is a lie. Right? Knowing you was back there. Well, matter of fact, you be in your pulpit sometime when the people, the parishioners ain't there. You be in your pulpit, in the back seat of your car, in the office, on the desk. You get a new house. You wanna baptize the new place on the floor, in the kitchen, from the window to the wall. Woo! Chapter 7, page 704, or chapter VII. Hold on. They did. They told us a lot of foolishness, right? Okay, so Oahspe College University said Book of Jehovah, chapter 6, verse 11 and 18 talks about Semu. Let's go to it real quick. Let's go to the beginning. Let's find it. Because I don't remember exactly where it is, and I don't want to flip through. Trying to find it. So we're going to the table of contents, which is on page V or 5. What you said? Book of Jehovah. This first book. Book of Jehovah starts on page 6. Remember, you got the introduction, preface. Okay. Chapter 6. Chapter 6 starts on page 9. You said verse 11 and 18. Okay, so go to page 10. Okay. Let's put this here. Ooh, wake up, honey bunny. Look, I thought with some of this talk, I be done woke him up. Yeah, when I say he tired, homeboy is tired. Okay, look. Page 10. Hold on. Page 10. Let's go to verse 8. Something my mom always said, like when we was learning, going through the Bible. She said, when you're looking for a verse, she said, always read up at least 2 verses. When you, like, say if you looking for verse 10, go up to at least 8. And after you read 8 through 10, go 2 more below, just to make sure you keep everything in context. But sometimes you have to go, you have to extend that a little bit more. Sometimes you need to read a whole chapter. Sometimes you may need may need to read 2 chapters to keep everything in its proper context. Okay, so verse 11 and verse 18. I'm gonna mark here. This is where we're going, but let me go up. It looks like it's starting at 8. Oh, wait. No, the Semu actually goes back. I'm glad chapter 5. Thank you for that. But Semu actually goes back to chapter 5. It's a lot. Let a sign be given to man that he may comprehend Semu. Let's do this. Um, let's read chapter 5 and 6 again, since we be talking about it, right? I can't just like not. Hold on, let me just make sure I really mark my spot. 7 here. Okay, because it's Sunday. Yeah, let's do this. So we'll go back. I remember we'll start right here. But let's backtrack for Semu-Semen. Okay, so go all the way back to the beginning, y'all. Page. It's really, well, shucks. Let's get into nebula and all that stuff, but I really want to start because actually from the beginning at 1, but we just gonna go to the beginning of 5. I see it talking about it, but it doesn't bring in the Semu just yet. It's just developing everything's developing the corporal eyes and seeing and just relating everything. This is really good. I'll be glad when we get back to this so we can read through it again. But listen, yeah, nebula is deep. Okay, so let's just keep with the Semu for the time being, right? Okay, so chapter 5 on page 8. If you are looking at it, if you're trying to follow along with electronic, it's the Book of Jehovah. Book of Jehovah, and it's chapter 5 or chapter V. I know you don't have page numbers up there, just giving you like the Roman numerals and the book, right? So it's the Book of Jehovah, chapter V. V is 5. And if you got the book in big blue, I'm not sure what the page number is if you got the 2 volumes with this, but in big blue, the big blue book, Oahspe, is page 8, chapter 5. Okay. Man perceiveth, man perceived the magnitude and glory of the corporal worlds. He said, how shall I speak of thy great works, O Jehovah, and of thy wisdom and power? Shall I open my mouth before thee? I look upon thy countless stars, suns and moons spread out over the heavens. The millions of years thou hast driven them on in the never ending firmament. And after driven, thou hast driven. Driven has reference number 10, and 10 at the bottom says rolled. The millions of years thou hast driven them on in the never ending firmament, processions in and out and round about of mighty worlds, by thy breath going forth. O thou all highest, how shall I hide my insignificance? I cannot create the smallest thing alive, nay, nor change the color of a hair on my head. What am I that thou hast seen me? Tell me, O my Creator, whence came life? Tell me, O my Creator, whence came life? This unseen within me that is, hold on. Okay, I was reading it a little too slow. Tell me, O my Creator, whence came life? This unseen within me that is conscious of being. Tell me how all the living came into life. So man is recognizing he has a spirit like within himself. Tell me of this unconscious thing on the inside of me. What is this, right? Listen. Okay. Tell me, O my Creator, whence came life? This unseen within me that is conscious of being. Tell me how all the living came into life. Jehovah heard the words of man, and he answered him, saying, let a sign be given to man that he may comprehend Semu. And this is the first time, well, not the first time, but here for man's purposes and what we was talking about. Let a sign be given to man that he may comprehend Semu. Thereupon Jehovah caused the jellyfish and the green scum of the water to be permanently coming forth in all ages, that man might understand the age of Semu, when the earth and the shores by the water and the waters also were covered over with commingled atmosphere and corporal substance. And this substance was called Semu, because by Jehovah's presence quickened he it into life, and thus made he all the living, both the vegetable and animal worlds. Not that Semu is jellyfish or the green scum of the water, for the earth in this day produceth not Semu abundantly, Nevertheless, the jellyfish and the green scum of the water are signs of that which was in that day of the earth. And probably the semen is a sign that this did exist back in the day, right? Listen, I'm a upload a coconut video that we did yesterday. We saw a man on while we was traveling. A man was selling fresh young coconuts. Right, he was chopping them open, giving you a straw with the beach hat thing inside of it with the lime, and he put it up there. Right, so we tasted it, and he said, when you're done, bring the coconut back over. And these are fresh young coconuts, the green coconuts, not the brown coconuts. The brown coconuts are the more mature coconuts, and it's not that much water on the inside of them, not that much coconut water. It's the young green fruit that you want, right? Listen, so when my husband got done with his, he took his back over there, and I thought about this when it was talking about the jelly-like substance. When you would see what I did when he was trying to give me some of it, because I had my coconut in my hand, and so he brought it back, and he was eating it. He said, babe, taste this," and he scooped it out and he put it. When I felt it on my mouth, I'm like, you see it like hanging out my mouth. I'm like, I mean, it wasn't nasty, but the texture of it kind of like threw me off a little bit. I didn't have a taste, and I thought it would taste more coconutty from like the flavors that the like the coconut flavors we're familiar with in the store. It really didn't have a taste. I mean, but it was light. It was jelly like, not too jelly like. It had a little firmness to it, but it was nice. I probably just wouldn't. Hey, let me get some of that coconut flesh. I probably wouldn't do that unless I was like stuck out on an island like Gilligan or something like that. And we look, they filmed that here as well. When we was doing the tour, going out for the tour, the sunset of Honolulu, they showed us the different places where the different things were shot at, and Gilligan's Island was here, right? So, but it is refreshing, and I can see how, like, if you get that fresh like that, how somebody could really, if you're doing like a coconut water fast, like, which I'm about to start doing. We talked about this a couple times. But when I get back home, I'm gonna check like Trader Joe's and stuff, and that's what I'm gonna look for. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. So that video is like 7 minutes long. And so I'm gonna show it to you, right? So, but I thought about that when it said this. Hold on, let me go back and read it. I'll just start at verse 4. Verse 4 is pretty long, right? Okay. Verse 4, page 9. Jehovah heard the words of man, and he answered him, saying, "Let a sign be given to man that he may comprehend Semu." Thereupon Jehovah caused the jellyfish and the green scum of the water to be permanently coming forth in all ages, that man might understand the age of Semu, when the earth and the shores by the water and the waters also were covered over with commingled atmosphere and corporal substance. And this substance was called Semu, because by Jehovah's presence quickened he in I'm sorry. Because by Jehovah's presence quickened he it into life, and thus made he all the living, both the vegetable and animal worlds. Not that Semu is jellyfish or the green scum of the water, for the earth in this day produceth not Semu abundantly. Nevertheless, the jellyfish and the green scum of the water are signs of that which was in that day of the earth. Oh yeah, I'm definitely I'm a lover of young coconuts now. Listen, verse 5. Jehovah said, "Because of my presence quickened I into life all that live or ever have lived, because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus I made them." I remember this part when we read this, right? Because I think I mentioned quite a few months ago when we started. I made a mention that what do you call somebody that's male and female? I forget the name, but I said it. Um, um, what is it, y'all? What they call people that had? Well, you can't be male and female, but they call people this who have both parts of males and females. What's that called? I'll wait if somebody remember. ISU. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that word, hermaphrodite. Yeah, hermaphrodite. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Not that the creators are hermaphrodite, because if with those, well, don't let me talk on that, because I was about to say I'm thinking maybe it's uh maybe dysfunction is the wrong word to use. um what's the word? I think I don't. This is just what I think right now, because I haven't really looked into it, so I could be completely wrong. um I'm thinking if you would like cut them open and look at their insides, and I think if you look at their reproductive system, I'm thinking we'd be able to tell, okay, maybe you were born, you have all the male parts, but something happened where something didn't develop all the way, or you got an extra something. I'm thinking like that. I'm thinking to actually identify what sex like internally, because your insides should match your outsides, right? At least in my understanding. So by looking at the insides, I'm thinking if you have like all the right stuff, we'd be able to tell. And now you just got to deal with this extra piece that you was born with. I don't know how to say that, not to be disrespectful to anybody that may have been born that way, so I'm here observing everything, trying to shake this stuff out myself. Look, yeah, right. Okay, so check the chromosomes. Right. Okay, so we need to not be guessing so much and actually look at a little bit of science. Okay. They have both, I believe. Oh, ISU has right. ISU has no gender. They say set apart. Say yes. That's how they tell what you are. If you're more okay, yeah. If you're more male or female. Okay. All right. The chromosomes should tell. Okay. Thanks, Mariah. And global purpose. Okay. So let's go. Well, I just finished reading. Okay, chapter 5. Okay, so chapter 6. When man comprehended the earth. Hold on. I'm sorry. Did I finish reading that? Such as a person everlasting. I did it. I didn't finish reading that. Hold on. Skip. Okay, we didn't get done. We didn't get done with chapter 5. I'm sorry. Go back to chapter 5, verse 5. Right? Okay. Jehovah said, because of my presence, quicken I into life all that live or ever have lived. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth. Right? So of his likeness he took and split it into half and split it into two halves, right? Separated to also also to teach us about the creation portion of him, right? And some people think, well, you can be a complete whole. You can be single and be wholly complete, male and female. But it's like another level of education when you decide to get with the opposite sex, which is the missing piece to your person, right? The missing piece to your person doesn't matter what flavor, for real, what flavor you choose, but as long as it's the opposite piece, the what is it, the woman is the positive or the negative charge or vice versa. But anyway, just like a plug in a socket, you don't get the power by putting two male pieces together. And they call, in electronics, they call male pieces anything that protrudes outwards, whether it's the plug that plugs, that comes out, anything that protrudes outward that can go into something else is considered the male. Everything that can receive or intake into them is considered female, right? So plug, you get power by plugging it into the female. Same thing. You get reproduction in life by plugging a male into a female. He gonna let off some of that semu, and the power process begins, right? Okay, look. Verse 6. Hold on. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth, according to their respective places, created I the living, not in Paris only. The whole out of Africa, right? Even listen, if they combine jubilees, if they put jubilees back in the Bible, people gonna start having questions about everybody come from one man and one woman, the whole out of Africa theory. Because jubilees, I think jubilees throws that out the water, but people kind of read over it real fast, like, okay, next chapter. Oh, we can we go back here when it talk about the 20 and 6 kinds? Listen, and even that is like a dumbed down version or cliff notes of what was. It's if you think about it, it's impossible. Although they be trying to explain the science away, and if we're not, listen, sometimes they can talk circles over our head, be like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Logically, okay, scientifically, that makes sense. But if we're not scientifically inclined or study, some of that stuff would make sense to us coming from somebody that the voice sound right. They got the books and these references. Okay, all right, we're gonna go with what they said because they definitely know more than what I do. Okay, so out of Africa it is, everybody. We're gonna okay, but I'm telling you what they did. They didn't pull the. They didn't did the. They didn't did the rope a dope on you, like Muhammad Ali with the science and stuff, and just like Paul, right? Paul was really, really learned in the scripture, right? Torah, he was a walking Torah. So for those who did not grow up learning, reading, eating, meditating on Torah every day, their understanding of it is at a whole nother lower level than what Paul did, right? So Paul was able to use that rope a dope. Who's the dope? The dope that followed me into the ropes. Right? And that's like you see some of the debates and stuff, right? I'm like, yo, they just did the rope a dope on them. Right? And so the dope is the one who follows me. That's what Muhammad Ali says. The guy, I forget the like he wasn't ESPN, but the interviewer guy, he said, okay, so tell us about this whole rope a dope thing. Y'all gotta Google it. Muhammad Ali rope a dope. How did it start? Something like that that's gonna come up. It's like a black and white, maybe when color was just coming in. They got it on YouTube. I'm gonna post it. Hold on, rope a dope. Rope a dope. um Look it up. And so he said, okay, so why do you call it the rope a dope? Who's the dope? And Muhammad Ali said, the dope is the one that followed me into the ropes, right? And so the whole point of it, the theory behind the rope a dope is to wear your opponent out sometime. And you can look at it when I'm watching. When I went back and look at that, I'm like, yo, they may call it something else. I was like, but they doing a rope a dope move, right? Because you got ones that want to debate you, the brews and stuff come out, even with the references, boom, boom, they shooting off and stuff. You just need to fall back a little bit. Let them throw their punches right. You keep your body loose, move like water, right? And you lean on the ropes. Let the rope support you, moving around. Don't get hit. But the point is, yeah, Howard Cosell, because he said Cosell, and the guy, he was a older white dude, right? But it's funny. The video is really short. But he said you pretty much just let them wear themselves out, right? Let them throw the jabs, all that, but you just keep your body fluid, move like water and everything. And once they get tired, right, then you literally go in for the kill, right? They're the dope, especially if they don't figure out what you're doing to them, right? So sometimes when we're I'm not saying call people dopes, right? But if we get wisdom, we can take some of these things that the boxers use, that train, some of their stratagems that they use, we can take it and apply it here and use the rope a dope method. I'm not saying use it to kill them, but we wanna wear them out with all the knowledge that they think they know, right? And let's go ahead, fire that off, shoot that off, shoot it off, shoot it off. But you gotta stay strong, right? Don't lose any of your stuff. You can, they ask for it, give them the reference and stuff. You just gotta go with it, right? And when they tire themselves out and it's like don't know what to say, then that's when you start jabbing with your information. Uppercut here, things that they can't come back for, to where they throw they references like, wait, where's your reference? Teach me. Right? When we get done, when we use the stratagem, when Creator's Children uses the stratagem of the rope a dope, right? They should be looking like on Doctor Strange when he fell down to his knees before the master said, teach me, right? So keep that in mind. I'm gonna put that in the title today, rope a dope. Who's the dope? The dope that follow me into the ropes. Go ahead. No disrespect to anybody, right? Look, hold on. I really don't want to quabble with this Hebrew sister and Sonetta TV, but she is tempting me to say something, but letting Selah Shalom, who has the strength to argue with them. Yeah, like right now, from what we see, Selah Shalom is Muhammad Ali, right? He can pull them, he can easily do them rope dopes, right? Well, we might not have a stratagem down too good yet. We just watch and learn the master, right? The Muhammad Ali over Oahspe right now, the information. Sometimes I hate saying Oahspe because when you say it, because you got a lot of people coming against like Oahspe without even reading it. So some people hear the name and the misinformation, they automatically just use the term Oahspe, cope, stay away from, because you got them ones that's overly zealous about a bunch of stuff that they think they know that they really don't. And so it gives Oahspe a bad name without people even opening it to test and verify the information that's found within it, right? The name is just like, oh, just like Jehovah's Witness. What? Close the windows, everybody get down. That's what they treating it like. I'm like, oh man. Listen, okay. Hold on. Jamia said, is she coming to your channel bothering you? It is she? Is she? I want to know. I'm being nosy now. Look. Just in case you missed it, Oahspe, Jamil had asked, "Is she coming to your channel, bothering you?" Like inquiring minds want to know. We being no. Mariah, look, she said, I was sold after Selah's presentation on FOPE. What do they call it? FOPE. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. FOPE. Yeah, it's like some stuff, like the people there that's rooting for like the other side, that's trying to be like, don't go to Oahspe, or put a trash basket, it's trash, like without actually going through it. People that are watching and they listen to some things that Selah said, because he keeps his composure and he gives off the information, and he's so learned in it where he can just go right to stuff. Like that's how I am with the Bible, but that's how he is with the Oahspe, and not just reading it, but he actually done research. He's created charts and graphs of his own, different things, pulling out things that we're familiar. He's a wonderful teacher, right? He's a really good teacher, and that's what good teachers would do for you. And what happened with that debate is some of the people who were searching for truth, they found their true teacher at this time, because we have different teachers all through life, just like we're going through school. We never keep one teacher for too long, because each teacher has their own specialty that they specialize in. So if you're going to be a math major, you need a teacher. And when you specialize, you may be with a teacher a little longer before you start specializing on what it is you do. And then at that point, you need another teacher until you get to the point where now it's time to take all you learned up until this point, and now you put into practice. Like Bruce Leroy, he was looking for the master, and he said, Leroy, think Leroy, right? What he was searching for was already, and his last master, he was playing around with him. He said, some dumb boy, go find, he'll be there. What here in New York, go find your master. He's here in New York. Master, why did you lie to me? Think, Leroy. Think, right? So sometime when you get to the level to where men can no longer be your teachers, you have now reached the level of the dragon, where it's time for you to become the teacher, right? And that's what Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon didn't understand. He had gained so much information, had become so proficient in all the levels, that in order to reach the next level, he had to become a teacher. Remember, Bruce Leroy had his own dojo too, right? So in order to get to the next level, it's like you can't it's like filling a cup. You can only fill it so far before you can get more. In order to get more, you have to pour out. So all that he learned, all that stuff, he had to pour it out to his students in order to get new to get more into his glass. Same way with us learning and teaching. So a lot of those people that showed up for that debate at FOPE, they found their new mat. I hate to say it, y'all get right. Not that we have men we're looking up to, but y'all get the concept of what I'm saying. They found the next level. They found the master at the next level where they needed to get to, right? To find truth. So big ups to say La Shalom. That's why I be saluting, brother. I salute a lot of y'all. I look at the comments. I go to y'all pages. I'm nosy. I look at y'all stuff. I'm like, you require a salute, right? Yeah. Yeah, his composure, just everything, right? He's just he, he, a, he a whole vibe. It's a vibes. Perfect name for his channel. All right, y'all. Look, let's go back here. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's finish this because we in a reference. Okay. Let's back to this Semu, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Let's do verse 10. Okay, because we still gotta read chapter 6. Where we at? An hour and 34 minutes. Look, the sun might catch us. It's 3:23 here in the morning. Listen, okay, verse 10, page 9. Let a sign be upon the earth that man in his darkness may not believe that one animal oh, hold on, let me go back up. Look, hold on, look. Let's go back to verse 6. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth. According to their respective places, created I the living, not in pairs only, but in hundreds of pairs, and thousands, and in millions. Excuse me, and in millions. Verse 8. So it's not just that out of Africa, Adam and Eve one. No, it's impossible. That's not what the Father did. Verse 8. According to their respective places, and the light upon Semu, so quicken I them in their color, adapted to their dwelling places. Right? It's a little bit more information about the different textures and colors and flavors of the different peoples upon the face of the earth, right? And where they were located, and the colors that he gave them according to the environment that they were in. I'm gonna read that again. Verse 6, page 9. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth. According to their respective places, created I the living, not in pairs only, but in hundreds of pairs, and thousands and millions. According to their respective places, and the color upon Semu, so quicken I them in their color, adapted to their dwelling places. Each and every living thing created I knew upon the earth, of a kind each to itself, and not one living thing created I out of another. Let a sign be upon the earth, that man in his darkness may not believe that one animal changes and becometh another, right? Which is kind of like what they be trying to teach us sometimes, but we know that's garbage because that ain't true. Because are apes turning into humans today? That's not true. Impossible. Don't come with me with that bull crap. Let a sign be upon the earth, that man in his darkness, not even in his light, that in his darkness he would know that this is foolish. Let a sign be upon the earth, that man in his darkness may not believe that one animal changeth and becometh another. Thereupon Jehovah gave permission for different animals to bring forth a new living animal, which should be unlike either its mother or father, but he calls the new product to be barren, right? And if I remember this correctly, this is reference letter D. I think this is just going to get into the horse. Remember, I was talking about the mule and the henny, and how when you mate them, even though that they may look similar, you can tell that they were not compatible because they come out and they're sterile. They're not able to reproduce after their own kind, right? Listen. Well, the product of two things coming together, you may birth something, right? But what you birth is what the Bible calls monsters, and they are sterile. They aren't what you done produced here. It's not going to be able to reproduce itself. I mean, that's going to die. When you take your last breath, that is it for that. Put that monster back in the dirt. We ain't having that. Listen, hold on. Okay, so verse 11 at the end, I'm going to read it again, then we're going to go to D and read that. Verse 11, page 9. Thereupon Jehovah gave permission for different animals to bring forth a new living animal, which should be unlike either its mother or father, but he caused the new product to be barren. That we can test and we see today. So after barren is reference letter D, and at the end of the book of Jehovah, remember the letter references are at the end of the book. Which is on page 13. So let's say D, right? Okay, I got it marked here because the first time we went through page 13. Yeah, okay, so D says on page 13, for example, a mule is the bearing offspring of a horse and a donkey. These passages clearly indicate that these passages clearly indicate that the definitive mechanism behind the anatomical progression evident in the evolutionary tree was intelligent design, whether or not natural selection, excuse me, whether or not natural selection or mutation contributed anything to that process. Nevertheless, the fact does not preclude the act of creation from being instrumental in this process as well. 1882, Elohist edition. So this is saying that that there is definitely a a divine or intelligent design behind this happening, right? To where it can't continue to reproduce a certain thing. When you get off track, it's gonna produce something ugly, and it ain't gonna be able to produce life. And that's why you're gonna know. Um, that's how you're gonna know that we got off a little bit. Let's try this again. That is not of your kind. That that's not the one made like you, right? Shebrew, shalom, shalom. Is this a replay? By me saying that, sis, you should know this is not a replay. No, we still live. We still live. Okay, we went back. We following a reference, and we went all the way back to the beginning of the book, right? To find you got to watch the replay and listen to what we said about Semu, right? So this is why we're here. Okay, so go back to page 9. Verse 11. Thereupon Jehovah gave permission for different animals to bring forth a new living animal, which should be unlike either its mother or father, but he caused the new product to be barren. Jehovah said, and this shall be testimony before all men that I created each and all the living after their own kind only, right? So even the different flavors and colors of the humans, if we can reproduce and what we reproduce can reproduce, excuse me, I'm sorry, it is of our own kind, right? Hold on, I gotta take a sip of water, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna read that again. Listen. Listen, okay. Let me go back to 6, and we're gonna keep going because we're really trying to get into chapter 6 to get into the what Oahspe College University said about verses 11 and 18. Okay. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth, according to their respective places, created I the living, not in pairs only, but in hundreds of pairs, and thousands, and in millions, according to their respective places, and the light upon Semu, so quicken I them in their color, adapted to their dwelling places. Each and every living thing created I upon the earth, of a kind, each to itself, and not one living thing created I out of another. Let a sign be upon the earth, that man in his darkness may not believe that one animal changeth and becometh another. Thereupon Jehovah gave permission for different animals to bring forth a new animal, which should be unlike either its mother or father, but he caused the new product to be barren. That's remember this reference letter D just took us giving us an example about the henny and the mule coming from the horse and the donkey, right? That's the example that we should see and be able to understand and be able to apply to our species, the human, right? Okay, so this is not happening. So you get a black person and a Chinese person together. They reproduce, and now they produce a new species called the Blackaneese. No, that's no, I know that's an improper term, right? So you got a Blackaneese, but this Blackaneese can get with anybody. You can get with another black, or you can get with another Chinese. So you can even bring in a a Polynesian. So now you got a Blackaneese Polynesian, right? First of all, we can reproduce. What? I'm black. Blackaneese can reproduce. I'm not the Blackaneese is not sterile. Okay, so let's try this mixture with the Polynesian. Okay, so Blackaneese, Polynesia, and now we get the Blackanesian. But we can reproduce too. We can get back. Okay, let's see. Let's go mix. Let's stir this with the men. Like, okay, let me take my stirrer. Let's see what we want to pick this time. Swinging around anything. Let's try this one. What we get? You got a Blackanesian and a. Let me stop. But y'all get the point, right? Listen. So this should blow this whole racism thing out of the water, right? You can just, I'm just making up names, Kendrick. Listen, I'm trying to bring light to the racism type thing, right? Because the Brews having a hard time with this. We stick with our own kind. No, brother, make some Blackanesians around here so you can test this principle to see. Because if it wasn't the truth, if this was really true, that the father wanted us to just stay here, the blacks right here, the whites here, the yellow people here, the red here, just keep it like that. Keep the full raw ingredients right here, right? We can tell. Hold on. What were you? Well, the pictures and stuff that I showed. Just look at nature. You got the beautiful mixture. Matter of fact, when we went to the pineapple plantation, I was going to show you this skyline, but then there's this pretty. I got sidetracked, and I I zeroed in on this pretty multicolored flower. It was absolutely beautiful, right? But think think about this: Blackanesians and uh whatever name you want to give to them, the mulattoes, whatever, they come out when you mix the colors, they come out and they're I ain't gonna say they look, I ain't throwing no hate, right? But sometimes we all wish for a beautiful mixed baby with that good hair, right? My kid, whatever, but y'all get what I'm saying. But they the whole point is they can still reproduce. They're not sterile. If that was true, what they were teaching us, excuse me, if what they were teaching us was true, then when you got a black person and a Chinese person coming together, first of all, let me just say they are the black people and Chinese people when their offspring are beautiful. And not just them, but you got a whole, it's like we see it in America sometimes, but here it's like a real melting pot, like the mix. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are gorgeous. And they're mixed with different things. Um, but we can tell that it's not against the laws of the creator because we can still reproduce with whatever color and flavor that we choose. Right now, if we was cutting the human population short by mixing, then that would tell us that what they was telling us over here, no, stick with your own kind so you can reproduce. They came up with that because they was on something else. They was on totally something else. Because if it wasn't true, I mean, if what they were saying is true, when you put the different races together, they wouldn't be able to reproduce, right? And then population would decrease. But it's rapidly increasing with all the flavors and colors and Baskin Robbins 31. We even surpassed Baskin Robbins and it's 31 flavors. You know, we got all kinds. You can let's see. No, I don't like. You can travel. Listen, Cosmon era opened up the gates everywhere. Travel everywhere, people. Have y'all seen these people over here down there? The black people that got blue eyes and stuff. Like people is trying to figure out, okay, who mixed them together? What is they? No, this is like they're native black people blue eyes, blonde hair. Like, what? They're gorgeous. Hey, can we mix with them? Let's see what we get. Like the man, you ain't got to tell the man nothing. They mixing with everything. But they because they look. Let me stop. Let me finish this, y'all. Look, hold on. What Mariah said. Mariah said, since I was young, I always wanted to travel the world, and that included dating someone out of my race. Being an Israelite, I had to suppress that, which made me hate other races. Oh man, that's first of all, thank you for sharing that, right? But sis, we got more than 31 flavors. And some people gonna hate me for saying that, but I don't care. I really don't. We tested, we using this and basing the principles off what the creator is teaching us, right? Listen, I don't care if you don't believe words of Oahspe. Let's go check. We know if something is not unnatural, if it causes us to die out. The creator, let's just look at the principles. Let's forget Oahspe for a second. Creator is about life. Okay, if I want to go mix with a Polynesian, am I going to stunt my race, right? Am I going to kill the human race? Like if I go, like all my children, if I decide to have 15 children by this Polynesian, make us some Blackaneesians up in here, is that going to be it? So like when they die, is that going to be it? They can, and they're going to be sterile. No, they're going to be very fertile, right? And you get all these different flavors and stuff, all these different people, you know, but it's reproducing more life. Now, if you mix with somebody and that was it with them and they couldn't have children with anybody, then that would die out. And then was like, okay, well, maybe it's true. Maybe because to reproduce, to keep producing life, it seemed like that's only happening when we just have, with blacks have sex with blacks, whites have sex with whites, reds and reds, yellows and yellows. If that was the only way we get those results, and first of all, that be the only four colors we'd be producing across the world if that was the case. Red, what is it? Excuse me. Red, they are yellow, black, and white. No, red, yellow, black, and white. They are precious in the sight, right? Then it would, if that was true, that'd be the only four colors we'd see across this world, and it'd be so bland, right? And people still, I'm telling you, people would still, they wouldn't care. They'd still be just, we're gonna try. I'm still, let me get a little bit of black today. I'm gonna test that white tomorrow. Red, okay, I like them hips. Yeah, let me try some red tomorrow. And we'd be populating all kind of sterile folk and we'd be done for. But that is not the case. We're constantly reproducing, and it's like you got all the different flavors and colors, and they're coming out beautiful. Right? I mean, I might even be of the mindset if you're reproducing and they're coming out butt ugly and you looking like a henny or a mule, stop what you're doing. Look, but they're coming out beautiful, right? So say la shalom. Look, okay, y'all. Let's get back to this. You in Miami? Take some pictures, bro. Wait a minute. I think I saw on Facebook. I think you posted a picture in Miami or whatever. But yeah, post some, show us some stuff, bro. Okay, listen, let's get back to this. I be playing too much. The sun gonna rise on us today. Oh yeah, who need to say like you gotta go back. You gotta go back and listen to what we're saying about you. About if you just came in, go back. Where we at? An hour and 52 minutes, probably about the hour and a half mark. Go back and listen to what we were saying. Right? You be when we was talking about the rope dope. Okay. But yeah, talking about different methods of getting truth to people. All right. Rope dope is definitely a strategy. Okay, listen, y'all. Let me hurry up. Okay. Let's just go back to verse 6 again. I'd have read this like 14 times this morning. Okay. And we're gonna keep going for real. Page 9, verse 6 in the book of Jehovah, chapter 5. And we're not here. It's just we're following this reference from Semu-Semen, just to kind of make sure our minds ain't in the gutter, right? Make sure we understand what this is. Because I am male and female, even in my likeness, thus made I them. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, thus made I them, and with power to bring forth. according to their respective places, created I the living, not in pairs only, but in hundreds of pairs, and thousands, and in millions, according to their respective places, and the light upon Semu, so quicken I them in their color, all the flavors of us, right? So quicken I them in their color, adapted to their dwelling places. Each and every living thing created I new upon the earth, of a kind, each to itself, and not one living thing created I out of another. Let a sign be upon the earth, that man in his darkness may not believe that one animal changeth and becometh another. Thereupon, Jehovah gave permission for different animals to bring forth a new living animal, which should be unlike either its mother or father, but he caused the new product to be barren. Jehovah said, and this shall be testimony before all men, that I created each and all the living after their own kind only. So all of us, all the different flavors are one kind. And we know that we can mix and mingle because we're not barren when we do. If our product was barren, that would be a no-no. But because we can reproduce and do with all the different colors, making Blackaneese and all these other different flavors of people, and they're still and they're still reproducing, we know it's the okay and it's supposed to happen. And that's exactly what's happening in Cosmine era. Daryl Cosman, shalom, shalom. Okay. Verse 12. Jehovah said, and this shall be testimony before all men, that I created each and all the living after their own kind only, such as my person and my spirit, being from everlasting to everlasting. And when I bring a new world into the time of Semu, lo and behold, my presence quickeneth the substance into life, according to the locality and the surroundings. Excuse me, and the surroundings. So do I bring forth the different species, for they are flesh of my flesh and spirit of my spirit. To themselves give I themselves. Nevertheless, they are all members of my person. As a testimony to man, behold, the earth was once a globe of liquid fire, nor was there any seed thereon, but in due season I rained down Semu on the earth, and by virtue of my presence quickened I into life all the living. Without seed created I the life that is in them. All right, chapter 6, page 9. We're in the book of Jehovah. When man comprehended the earth, he looked upward, and Jehovah saw him and knew the desires of his soul. So Jehovah sent his son Uz, and Uz spake, saying, hear me, O man, the mysteries of heaven and earth. The mysteries of heaven and earth will I clear up before thy judgment. Thou art the highest, and comest into the chiefest of all kingdoms. From great Jehovah shalt thou learn wisdom, and none shall gainsay thee. Bethink thee, O man, of the magnitude of thy father's kingdoms and his places in the firmament. Save I take thee into the heavens above, thou cannot comprehend the places thereof. And after heavens above is reference number 11. And at the bottom it says, save I take thee up to the heavens above. Okay. Save I take thee into the heavens above, thou canst not comprehend the places thereof. Man then rose up in spirit and ascended into the firmament, for his spirit had crystallized into separateness, and Uz and Es ascended with him, speaking in the voice of the Father. And man beheld that each and everything in the firmament was orderly and still, each to itself located. Then spake Es, saying, behold, O man, as a farmer soweth corn in one place, and wheat in another, and roots in another, and flax, everything in a separate place, even so doth Jehovah store the ingredients of which worlds are made, everything in its place, the substance of the iron in one place, the substance of the stones in another, the substance of the vegetable kingdom in another, and even so of the substance of the animal kingdom, and the oils and sand, for he hath places in the firmament of heaven for all of them. These that thou sawest are the Aj, and the Ga, and the nebula, and amidst them in places there is Semu also. So remember, we came back here to follow up Semu to get a clearer understanding of what it is. Let no man say, yonder is hydrogen only, and yonder oxygen only. The divisions of the substances of his creations are not as man would make them. All the elements are to be found not only in places near at hand, but in distant places also. When the Father driveth forth his worlds in the heavens, they gather a sufficiency of all things. So also cometh it to pass that when a corporal world is yet new and young, it is carried forth, not by random, but purposely in the regions suited to it. Hence, there is a time for Semu, a time for falling nebula, to bury deep in the forest, and Samoan beds, to provide coal and manure for a time thereafter. So is there a time when the earth passeth a region in the firmament, when sand and oil are rained upon it and covered up, and gases bound and sealed up for the coming generations of men. And man said, I am ashamed in thy sight, O Jehovah. I looked upward and said, behold the sky, it is nothing. Then I said, it is true. The corporal worlds are made of condensed nebula, but I saw not the wisdom and glory of thy works. I locked thee up in coincidences and happenings. Thy unseen world hath become seen, the unreal hath become real. Okay, so this is the verse 8. And so the first verse that Oahspe College University mentioned was verse 11. Okay, so pay attention because it's coming up. Oh, that I had been mindful of thee. Oh, that I had not put thee afar, nor imagined laws and decrees. Teach thou me, O Jehovah, how was the beginning of man? How was it with the first of the living that thou broughtest forth? Jehovah said, have I not declared myself in the past? In my works have I not provided thousands of years in advance? As I have shown system in the corporal worlds, know thou, O man, that system prevaileth in the firmament. To the tree I gave life, to man I gave life and spirit also. And the spirit I made was separate from the corporal life. Out of Semu, this is verse 11 that he mentioned. Out of Semu I made man, and man was but as a tree, but dwelling in Hak, H-A apostrophe K, and I called him Asu, Adam. I looked over the wide heavens that I had made, and I saw countless millions of spirits of the dead that had lived and died on other corporal worlds before the earth was made. I spake in the firmament, and my voice reached to the uttermost places, and there came in answer to the sounds of my voice myriads of angels from the roadway in heaven where the earth travaileth. I said to them, behold, a new world have I created. Come ye and enjoy it. Yea, ye shall learn from it how it was with the other worlds in ages past. There alighted upon the new earth millions of angels from heaven, but many of them had never fulfilled a corporal life, having died in infancy, and these angels comprehended not procreation nor corporal life. And I said, go and deliver Asu from darkness, for he shall also rise in spirit to inherit my Ethereal worlds. And now was the earth in the latter days of Semu, and the angels could readily, oh yeah, look, excuse me. Okay, so this, it reminds me of the verse all the way back here when it talked about the angels pulling out from the side of man a substance that they were able to clothe themselves and make themselves seen. Let me see. There alighted, verse 14, page 10. There alighted upon the new earth millions of angels from heaven, but many of them had never fulfilled a corporal life, having died in infancy, and these angels comprehended not procreation nor corporal life. And I said, go and deliver Asu from darkness, for he shall also rise in spirit to inherit my Ethereal worlds. And now was the earth in the latter days of Semu, and the angels could readily take on corporal bodies for themselves out of the elements of the earth, clothe they themselves by force of their wills with flesh and bones. by the side of the Asuans, they took on corporal forms. Verse 17, and I said, go ye forth and partake of all that is on the earth, but partake ye not of the tree of life, lest in that labor ye become procreators, as if dead, to the heavens whence ye came. Wait a minute. Verse 18, but those who had never learned corporal things, being imperfect in wisdom, comprehended not Jehovah's words, and they dwelt with the Asuans and were tempted and partook of the fruit of the tree of life. And lo and behold, they saw their own nakedness, and there was born of the first race, Asu, a new race called man. And Jehovah took the earth out of travail of Semu, and the angels gave up their corporal bodies, which when we this is getting us into the book of Enoch, when it in the book of Enoch, or also in what chapter is it, when chapter 6 of Genesis, right, when the sons of God, which we know now the sons of God are angels, or once humans who have already given their flesh back to the dirt, they're already completely born in spirit. They came and they had sex with the daughters of men, right? So this is where all this is coming from. All those are like references for this. Listen, okay, so Oahspe College University, he said, chapter 11 and 18. Let me read 18 again. But those who had never learned corporal things, being imperfect in wisdom, comprehended not Jehovah's words, and they dwelt with the Asuans and were tempted and partook of the fruit of the tree of life. And behold, they saw their own nakedness, and there was born of the first race, Asu, a new race called man. And Jehovah took the earth out of the travail of Semu, and the angels gave up their corporal bodies. And let me just finish reading this to the end. Jehovah said, because ye have raised up those that shall be joint heirs in heaven, ye shall tread the earth with your feet and walk by the. Yeah, this is exactly the book of Enoch. So if you get somebody teaching you the book of Enoch from the wrong understanding, you start getting into that whole strife type thing and start getting on into the Nephilim and all this, which is a part of the story, but the perception about what really happened is wrong, right? Listen. Verse 19, page 10. Jehovah said, because ye have raised up those that shall be joint heirs in heaven, ye shall tread the earth with your feet and walk by the sides of the newborn, being guardian angels over them, for they are of your own flesh and kin. Fruit of your seed have I quickened with my spirit, and man shall come forth with a birthright to my Ethereal worlds. As I have quickened the seed of the firstborn, so will I quicken all seed to the end of the earth, and each and every man child and woman child born into life will I quicken with a new spirit, which shall proceed out of me at the time of conception. Neither will I give to any spirit of the higher, neither will I give to any spirit of the higher or lower heaven power to enter a womb or a fetus of a womb and be born again. And the corporal earth passeth away, so shall pass away the first race of Asu. But as I pass not away, so shall not pass away the spirit of man. Okay, so this also kills. We got into reincarnation. We know that where reincarnation started, and although people teach it, it's not what they teach. That doesn't happen because every person that's born here, it's a brand new spirit, right? So this, all of this, it's a whole lot of stuff packed into these two chapters, right? But when we was talking about Semu, so when the angels came down, if they had enough, because they did this, because they came and they had sex with Asu and reproduced with them, the father told them, don't go down there and partake of the tree of life, which it just describe Asu, or the man at that current stage of civilization, like a tree of life, but you were dumb spiritually, right? They were supposed to teach them, but they came and they intertwined with them and had sex with them. But it also allowed the father to help develop something new, to quicken the spirit of man. He said, okay, now because you did this, now you've attached yourself to the earth and you have responsibility there. now, right? So now you have offspring, which you have to help raise up. So these offspring that you went and had with man who was still not completely aware of their spirit, right? Man, dumb as a tree, but you got those in spirit coming and intertwining with man. See how the Father raised up, even in that, the Father raised up man who wasn't aware of their spirit by linking the angels who came to have sex with them. Now you're going to link yourself to the earth, and the offspring that you develop with the dumb tree, y'all get what I'm saying? Your offspring now will be capable of understanding spiritual things. Why? Because now you are their fathers. Teach them about not just who they are here, but also teach them about the spiritual realm. And this began our development of us understanding spiritual things, right? And us being two-part beings, and as we develop and all that good stuff, right? Okay. So we went back to that. Let me scroll all the way back up. Y'all had like this whole conversation. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's go back up to what Oahspe College University said. Hold on. All the way. Hold on. This one was talking about the Semu and the semen. Hold on. She just saw your comment. You use Blackaneese. Hold on. Nasarayahu, shalom. People came in. I'm trying to go back to Oahspe College University, his comment, and why we even went back. Okay. I missed your comment too. He couldn't have a dojo if he was not already a master. That just blew my mind on a whole nother level. He didn't even recognize. Look, Bruce Leroy didn't even recognize that he was the man. Look, he was the man. Oh man, that's the man. Hold on. Let's not get sidetracked. Hold up. Go back. Hold on. Where's your comment? Oh, okay. Hold on. Talking about Sunday TV. Hold on. Wait. I think it's after this. You gave me the reference. Maybe it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna reread what he said when. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all gotta go on here. I know it's Sunday. Hold on. Dang, it's a lot of comments. I can't find it, y'all. I'm probably overlooking it. Hold on, wait, I found it. Okay, back up here. Yeah, okay, so Set Apart said, we're Cosmon babies and we see it all. Tabitha said, these are the topics the church need to discuss. Oahspe College University put Book of Jehovah, chapter 6, verses 11 and verse 18. But when I went back, we was already in the thick of the conversation talking about Semu and semen. We was talking about how what we can see in nature, we can see in our bodies, and this was explaining this in a current book we're in the Book of Inspiration, right? So it was in chapter 7, all the way on page 704, just starting from, and what I think I'll do now that we didn't read that, I think I'm gonna reread chapter 7 again, and I think we'll pause there and we'll wait for 8. Just trying to keep this together with the Seymour and stuff, making sure we really understand this. And I was saying, if y'all know more what we was trying to fumble through with the Seymour, help us out. Especially, we said all that before, Selah, and the ones that really been in this thing for a while know. So your information on this will be quite amazing. Even if you ain't got to respond here, just like watch the video, see what we said, and help correct us. When we was off, do a video or something, and so we can add it with all your references and all that good stuff, right? Okay, so we were saying how things as they develop. This in a nutshell, this explained to us that there was a time when man came on the scene, when the Father created man, when the earth was ripe for man. Everything else that had already come many years and generations and thousands of years before it took time to develop, that everything from the beginning of creation was now inside of man. So we're like tiny microcosms of the bigger earth. And we can find something in us that can relate to us, even like different animals and stuff. And we was talking about how women, if you look at your spouse, or if a woman look at a female, we can see the elephant. And we can see the elephant at certain stages. Let's just say it like that. And here I'm gonna give you a hint. the eyes would be his chest, right? So you got to go back and hear the whole conversation and you figure out the elephant's trunk, right? So we was talking about that. I was like, I can definitely see the elephant, right? We was talking about the skin, and although our skin is soft and it's smooth, but if you look really close, you can see it's like diamond shaped scales, kind of. You can look at turtle shells and different animals in their skin. Our texture is different. We get the softer. We're like the best. We're like the we're like the best of all of creation put together in one. And on top of all of that, we have the intelligence not to just show our beauty and show it off, not just with our flesh and skin. Sometimes we wear that out and they get all stretched out and out of shape, right? But we beautify it even with the colors and fabrics and stuff around us to still show our beauty. But and even the animal and plant kingdom does that, but we have like one up on them to where even though they communicate and you can actually test it now. You can hear sounds and the vibrations coming from them. We can make sounds and vibrations and we can intelligibly speak and describe and explain things and praise our creator, not just with our form and fashion, but with the sound that comes out of us, right? So that's what we was talking about. This is kind of sums all that up. And so when we got, while talking about that, when it started talking about Semu and how he actually created the multiple pairs of humans and not the whole out of Africa that's been blown out of the water, right? We started talking about Semu, and I was like, so Semu now, this was just this what we need help with, Selah. Look, this is my theory. What I was thinking, I said, okay, so if we was created from the Semu, so technically, if everything is inside of us now, I would say that man, the male factors, the men would actually carry the portion of Semu, which we now term as semen today, right? And so everybody's still being created out of Semu, right? Out of Semu or semen. Now the man pushes the Semu into the woman and it begins to develop. We see the tadpole with the sperm, all the different phases that we go through. We can pinpoint something in creation, right? Even the colors of our skin, the colors of our eyes. If you eat, here's what I'm working on. If you eat a plant-based, fresh, like raw fruit diet, and your body becomes healed and restored in a fashion, you can actually change the color of your eyes. Like chameleons can change the color of their skin. We have the ability to, by what we put in our body, to change the colors of our eyes, right? I looked that up. That is really a thing, right? So this is where we at. That's why we went all the way back. I said, okay, let's just make sure we understand what Semu is again, right? Because it's been so long since we read it. So we went to the glossary, looked up Semu, then Samoan age, and that's when the Oahspe College University gave the two references. So I said, so let's go back. But when I looked over it, looking up, I realized it started talking about Semu a little bit ahead. So that's why we went to chapter 5 and we read chapter 5 and 6 to kind of bring all this stuff together, right? Okay, so help us out on that. If you already did a video, Sayla, I'm sure you did. You did billions of videos. But one that if it's explaining that in deeper detail, like what we're trying to figure out, we just want to make sure we stay on the right track. Share that link with us. Or if you want to do one fresh, using all the information that you learned up to the day, hey, you know, I'm there for all the lives, most of them. If I'm woke or when I get to know, I'm there. Even if I catch it late, I'm watching it, right? So okay, so let's read chapter 7 again. Go back to page 704, where we at in the book of inspiration. So we're going to read chapter 7 again, and we're going to go ahead and be done with this. Oh, it's 4:06 in the morning here. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're at 2 hours. Oh, my gosh. Okay, chapter 7, page 704. I created man, even from the first, that he should learn to be an independent being, saith Jehovah. And when my angels had taught man speech, making man name all the animals in the world after the names the animals called themselves, I commanded my angels to come away from man for a season. To my angels I said, behold, all of the animals I created in the world, to man only gave I the capacity to transmit knowledge to his brethren by words. And to man only gave I capacity to comprehend an idea of me, his creator. Nevertheless, I inspire all living animals which I created, but they know it not. I inspire the spider to make its net, the bird to build her nest, the wild goose to fly to the south before the winter cometh, the mare to neigh for her colt, the ant to lay in its stores, the bees to dwell in a kingdom, and so on. Every living creature do I move and control by my inspiration upon them. Males and females I inspire to come together at times and seasons, and then to live apart during gestation. These I keep before man as a lesson of the wisdom of my inspiration. To man I give liberty to acquire wisdom by observing the method of my work as I manifest in other living creatures. Right? This is amazing. This is awesome. I'll read that again. Verse 8, page 704, chapter 7, or chapter VII, if you're looking at the electronic version. To man I give liberty to acquire wisdom by observing the method of my work as I manifest in other living creatures. I have also given man capacity to attain to know my inspiration in contradistinction from the inspiration he receiveth from his surroundings. To no other creature gave I this capacity. What cometh of me is without pain or injury to anyone, and with liberty unto all. Such are my inspirations. Highlight that, right? Everything that comes from Creator, from our Father, is life. There is no pain. There is no bondage. Like, he's like, go ahead, child, test all things. Like the childlike spirits was out there, they just touching stuff and tasting things with their mouth. Oh no, we ain't supposed to eat this. They keep trying to chew on it till finally they lose interest, right? When they find something that they can ingest that tastes good, ooh, and it goes down easy. Let me get some more of this. Oh, this is good to eat. And we begin to reckon the same thing. Observation all around the world. Get out here and travel, y'all. Show y'all videos and pictures, especially the places we can't go. Look, right? Only liberty. Our Father gives us only liberty, even liberty to go do what is wrong, right? Because without knowing what's wrong, how do we know what's right? He gives us the freedom to choose, figure it out, right? Can't do that in a lot of places. You go to jail. Some stuff you should know as you get older. Yeah, we can't do that. I'm gonna teach you not to do this because this good. Yeah, you don't want to try that. You don't want to listen. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me know how it work out for you. Listen, Verse 8, to man I give liberty to acquire wisdom by observing the method of my work as I manifest in other living creatures. I have also given man capacity to attain to know my inspiration in contradistinction from the inspiration he receiveth from his surroundings. To no other creature gave I this capacity. What cometh of me is without pain or injury to anyone, and with liberty unto all. Such are my inspirations. When man witnesseth a battle, he is inspired to battle. When he witnesseth peace and love, he is inspired to peace and love. What moveth man in consonance and wisdom and to life is my inspiration. What moveth man in disconsonance and folly and to death is inspiration from man's surroundings. To inspire the serpent to bite to death, for thus created I it. This is no sin, for it fulfilleth its labor. It is the remnant of poison of other errors, right? So we learned about that going back here, skipping back here, reading about that. Verse 16, man I created not to destruction, but to life, wisdom, peace, and love toward all. When man practices virtue, wisdom, truth, and love unto all, his inspiration is from me direct. When man practices destruction and selfishness, his inspiration is indirectly from me through the conflict of his surroundings, and thus becometh he evil instead of good. By direct inspiration do I move upon all the animals I created. This I also created possible unto men, separate from indirect inspiration. And that is the end of chapter 7 in the book of inspiration, y'all. And Oahspe on page 704. So we'll pause right here. Hold on. And I will look, all this that we read today, y'all, we only read 2 chapters. Not even 2 whole, hold on. Chapter 5. We're at 5. Okay, chapter 5, 6, and 7. 3 chapters, but all them 3 chapters is in a page and a half. So all the extra talking was the stories, us joking around about Semu and semen, the Blackaneese and the mixing of the colors and the colors of people and stuff. Our babe, look, what Tigba at? Tigba, he just waking up. You would have loved that conversation. Look. You catch it on the back end. Yo, listen, y'all, I really had fun with this today, right? I'm sorry if I've offended anybody with some of the stuff and the terms that I made up on the spot and the colors of the people mixing together. I'm sorry, but I wanted to get a point across, right? But learning should be fun, right? But I'm gonna share the stuff that I said I was gonna share today, and the video. Look, Tigba, look, my husband just waking up. He said, "I missed it. You already read it." Babe, I let you sleep. Okay. Look, y'all. All right, so we about to get out of here. I know, right? Ima, I had a blast today. Nazarene Faithers, I'm glad I said this was very helpful. Prince Yehuda, shalom, shalom. It should be fun, right? All right, y'all. So that is it for today. I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff posted. I'm gonna post this video. Listen, so when I post this coconut video, when I actually taste the coconut meat, remember what we talked about in Semu and the when it talked about jellyfish and stuff like that. It's hilarious. But you will see it's only like 7 minutes long, but I'm gonna post it on Facebook and YouTube, y'all. So but thank y'all for hanging out. Look, it is Sunday, October the 9th, 2022, day 234 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1252. We're reading in Big Blue. Big Blue is the Big Blue Oahspe. Remember, it's a couple different versions they have. And this is $30 on Amazon. If you got Prime, they always throw you a discount. Take advantage. But they also have it where it's broken up into 2 volumes. And they're $30 a piece. I would recommend, you can get it if you like a research. You can get both sets or whatever. Never, right? But Big Blue is the most recent edition, their lowest edition, and it has those 2 volumes combined together with, I believe it's a couple other missing manuscripts that wasn't in the broken up volume 1 and 2 versions, right? So get that. So we read the Book of Inspiration, page 703 to page 704, and the chapters were chapter 5 through 7. But we also read what was that? What was just that? Book of Jehovah, page 6. Hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta double check. I'm gonna put all this in here too, so if you want to go back and read it. But it's the first book. And yeah, Book of Jehovah, we read page 8 to page 10, which is chapter 5 through 6. Semu, right? But y'all gotta go back when we started talking about trying to relate the term Semu and semen. It was quite hilarious. Y'all just go watch it. And then you'll see where we got to where we was at. But for those that are more learned and more mature, help us out in our ignorance if we off a little bit. Just help us out, right? Because we're trying to learn. All right, y'all. But that's it. Let's see. Father, thank you that you are the universal inspirer. Yes, the universal inspirer. All right, beautiful people. And when y'all see mixed couples, remember some of the stuff I talked about. It'll be funny. And it'll help you lighten up a little bit, right? We got all flavors and colors and stuff. All right, I love y'all. Let me get out of here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Semu look like Irish moss. You know what? I have Irish moss, sea moss, or whatever. Okay. I'm gonna look more into that too. Thank you, Oahspe College University. Remember, check out his channel too, y'all. For some of his videos that he said you did the Semu video, right? Hold on, yeah. I'm gonna post that too. His Semu video. But also, Selah, we're looking to see. I'm looking to see if he already did one. I'm sure he did. He always talk about all this stuff in detail, but I'm gonna see if one that actually has a title with Semu in it. I'll put that as a reference today too to help us learn a little bit more, make sure we're really understanding it appropriately. All right, y'all. With that being said, I love y'all. I see y'all. Let me see. Y'all can probably see some of the lights. I don't think we the sun ain't up yet, but you can still see the skyline. Right. The other day, we talked to the sun came up. Okay. Can't really see it. It's the mountains. Hold on. Let me get out here and slide up the side of the wall again. You can't really see the clouds. As it start getting lighter, you start seeing some of the clouds over the mountain and stuff. That's the skyline. We up on the 18th floor, y'all. So but I'm gonna just watch the videos of the stuff that we took yesterday while we was riding around the island, right? It's like 120 miles. So, but all right, I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. I'm sorry, y'all came in and I didn't call out y'all name. Everybody here and everybody hanging out in the background. Love y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Peace. Oh, see recording? What happened? Didn't end. Uh-oh, hold on. Something new popped up. Okay. Oh, all right, y'all. Bye. Mom!